I will call the meeting to order at 6:02 p.m. And I'll look for the approval of the January 22nd, 2026 minutes. We have a first by Keith.
I'll second.
Seconds. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstentions, thank you. We have no guests. We'll go quickly on the update on the interim trails and we'll get into what I really want to talk about tonight. Interim trails, I know last time I talked about the new mapping going up in the kiosk. That's been ordered. It's just hasn't come back yet. So, and I'm not sure a lot of people are using the woods right now. Maybe some snowshoeing going on.
So just one place there's no showing.
Yeah.
Clark Park.
Well, you
So,
know, I the first snowfall we got, I don't know, the big one, what, a month ago or something like that. I went up to snowshoe and the parking lots weren't plowed. I was so bummed. So I went over to Fenwick, but yeah, I was gonna complain. No, I'm being facetious. That was so much snow. It was the last place they needed to go, but
They try to get to them as quickly as they can because I talk to the public works director about it all the time. But this one was just a little bit different. So
yeah, this one I didn't even try because I figured they didn't do it on the last one and I knew they wouldn't. Well, I wasn't too keen on going up Ingham Hill even
I
from
was
the
just going to
blizzard.
say, I wouldn't
Yeah.
have even tried it.
The last storm wasn't as bad as this one, so yeah.
You got there too fast. I was there the next day.
Ah,
really,
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah, actually, it became really good. Most of the major trails got snow
Yeah.
shoes and it was
hmm.
really nice at the top on the old Saybrook side. Not anymore though.
so I have nothing else on the interim trail system at this point in time. I want to talk about the trails later on in the meeting, and kind of go from there. So, if it's okay with you guys, I'm sure we don't have anything on the weed discussion, and I don't think there's anything on mountain bikes at this point in time because it's all snowy. So, we'll just move down to the forest management plan discussion. So, if you were at the CMC meeting last month, I guess it is now,
Right?
just about the end of the month, whatever it was. You know that it's been signed, and a few questions were asked at our last meeting about it. And I think I asked several of those questions. One of those was, of all the comments that were made to stop the whole process, had anything changed in the forest management plan? And Will Hochhauser from the state said no. So nothing was changed from any of those two letters that were addressed about the plan that made the plan stop. So nothing was really changed in the plan at all, which I thought was surprising. But it is what it is. And then we talked about next steps, what's going to happen. We talked about the hunting assessment and how that will be affected and when that might start. There was no firm date on that. And the next steps is obviously our public use plan. And then I also talked about well pipes, if they're going to be capped off, and they're going to look into that a little bit more too. So there wasn't too much in the forest management plan, except that stand 10 will be the next stand that they're going to work on, and Alex Amendola will be working on the process for that, and they have a bat study going on that will accompany that plan as well for that particular area. So at this point in time, the forest management plan, again, it's the overall guide. It's not the end all be all, but is the overall guide for the preserve. So, and really the next steps is our public use plan. And that's where we wanted to really, the bulk of my conversation tonight wanted to focus on. So it was decided in that CMC meeting that we'll have a committee to work on the public use and trails plan. And that committee will be made up of Kim Bradley from DEP. She'll be the main person writing the plan. Martin, who is the recreation coordinator for the state in our area. And Alex Amendola will also be on that particular committee, along with myself representing the town. And then we need an ad hoc committee member to be on that particular committee, and I wanted to ask Keith, I think I already asked you, Keith. And if you guys are okay, Keith, did you say yes?
I think I did, yeah.
Yeah, I think you did. If you guys are okay with that, I'd like Keith to be our member on that to represent the ad hoc committee, where you guys can filter your ideas instead of going through me, which I'll be dealing as the park and rec person with for the town. I'd rather have you guys, hey, let's filter all your ideas, thoughts through Keith, who then can bring them to the meeting. And that was my thoughts and ideas on that particular, how to do that. Bob, we're gonna certainly rely on you as well. I don't know if we're gonna have you on the committee. We haven't discussed the committee, who's on it.
Yep.
But we need to have your input as well on these trails.
Happy to do that. I also had a question, before the CMC got moved, I had intended to come on and ask about how they're planning to access 10, and Alex never did, as you know, answer my question that was part of the response from the meeting. And I didn't want to reach out to Alex again without checking in with you first. I can wait until, we hear more, but I thought I would, since there are a lot of statements being made one way or the other, and I don't know that, what the factual basis is. So I thought I would just remind Alex, he never answered my question about how they're planning to get to stand 10. So I look to your guidance. I'm happy to reach out to him. If you prefer I wait, I'll wait.
Well, I'm assuming that will all be addressed in their plan that they have to create for stand 10.
Yeah, their operating plan. Yeah.
That's correct. I'm sure it'll be in there, but last I knew, I thought they were gonna use the old parking lot on Ingham Hill Road as their main access point in that particular trail right
Okay.
there. But
Okay. Yep.
be mistaken, because in the forest management plan, there is a red, if you looked in that particular section, there's a red little line in there, and that's their
Yeah.
access point for an easement through the conservation area to
Gotcha.
get through
Okay.
this band. I don't believe they're using Essex at all.
I didn't think so, but some people had asserted that they were, and it didn't make sense to me.
But I'm certainly gonna look for you, Bob, for answers on a few questions about trails and connection points and how you want to do it and how's it gonna go, because certainly we know this trail management plan is gonna be very, very, very important. And how that gets done, still a mystery to me. We're gonna start meeting on these things, but
Yeah.
but we wanted to, I wanted to bring our thoughts and ideas. Over the last few years in this committee, we've talked about trail usage, the density of the trails, single use, multi-use, all the good stuff, what points we want to go by. And I need you guys as the committee to filter all those thoughts back at Keith, so we have an idea when we go to our meetings, what we're looking for, right? And I'm certainly gonna have our input as a town as well into those, but we need to re-look at what we've talked about in the past. I know, Sue, you had a list of things you want to talk about, and maybe some GPS points of certain locations you want to go by. We had talked about in the past using density of trails that are going to be in this particular preserve and what we can use. And the only best practice that we had was the Massachusetts guidelines, which I'm giving you that because that is their whole guideline from Massachusetts, so you can look through on their best ways of making trails. I have another copy of it as well. And I can actually email that to everyone too if they want to look through it as well. So there's going to be a lot of things going on, and I think the hard part for us is going to be there's at least 3 members of the state on this committee, and I'd like to have at least 3 members of Old Saybrook on this committee as well. Whether it works out just 2 of us, that's fine too, but I was thinking of a member of the public to be on that particular committee to put some input. I'm not sure if that'll work or not. So next week, hopefully, I'll learn more about this committee and who's on it, when we're gonna meet. Is it, similar setup like this? Is it gonna be just random meetings? I don't know yet. I really don't. But I wanted to get everyone start to think about the trails, what we want in them, where they want to go, where they should go, where they shouldn't go, what trails we want to eliminate, what trails we want to try to create. look at the heat maps that we have in the access of everyone that's been using them, things of that nature. You know, the hot spots, who's using them the most. But it's our time to shine here. This is the way I look at it. You know, the state did the 99% of the forest management plan, if not 100% of it. I want this to reflect our thoughts and needs out there, this use plan, as opposed to what the state thinks it should be. And I know it's gonna be a struggle, but I think we need to put our 2 cents into this plan, the majority of it, and not just sit back and say, yes, state, that's what's gonna happen. So that's kind of how I feel, and I think this committee will have a big say, in my mind anyway, of how this goes and how we move forward with it. So that's what I'm hoping.
How long ago was it when you did the survey, the usage survey? It's been 3-4 years now.
Oh, it's been more than that, I'm gonna say.
I
Yeah,
think it's more like 5.
It was a
Yeah.
while ago.
that's another good thing we need to get out, though, the usage survey.
Do we want to do another one?
Yeah. Yeah, it would be good to do another one. Was it hard to find that group to send it to?
No, because we sent it to our group that we had, Kathy had. I have the whole email of 900 and some odd people that were part of the preserve, so
That's great. Let's send it to you.
we can make up a survey, yeah.
You know, I was thinking if it might help us, of course, it's midwinter now with 2 feet of snow on the ground, but if we were to set up a small kiosk like they do in some state parks with a book that people sign in, and we could ask them what their use for that day was, whether it's walking or biking or what and which trail they were using. I know the heat maps give us a but it might be good to have a paper report on who is walking into the preserve, whether we have one set up in Westbrook parking lot and one in Saybrook parking lot, and advertise it that this is part of our survey system, and we would love to have you come in, even if you use it 3 times a day, to sign in, what time you're signing in and what is your use for it.
When you've seen those, have they been in like small buildings almost? Because how do you?
Well, no, well, the ones I'm used to, Upper Maine and New Hampshire, where they just make a little lean-to type thing that would keep the book out of the weather, and you supply a little notebook with a pen and say, and it's sort of like a sign-in.
Yeah, we need a telephone booth, that's what we need. I'm sure there's some around.
But I mean, it works pretty well for the weather. You just it's just a little lean-to type. It's not even bigger than 8 by 11 pages. But it's interesting what people put in there.
So how about if I find the old survey? And we can send it out and see what questions were on there and see what still apply and which don't.
Yeah, yeah.
You guys can come up with some questions that we can get out there and start this ball rolling here, because I mean, certainly our thoughts are important, but we want the public's thoughts on there too, so.
Yeah.
And I don't know, again, if the state will do anything, so. Again, talking to Kim about this meeting, I just to let you know what she had said. She's meeting with Alex and Martin next week, Tuesday or so. To start some of this, what they're doing, timeframes and whatnot. Anyway, the first meeting for our particular group that she wanted to accomplish were goals of the recreation public use trail plan, what the goals are. The boundaries of the plan, focus on DEP managed land. Will this include municipal and land trust land, so on and so forth. Available data and resources. We have a lot of data already. We really do. But maybe getting some more, and then the trail use and users and the trail management objectives, and then the action items and next steps. So I think for us, certainly goals are important, but if we can have some of that information that we are looking for goals too, I think that's important, because I don't want this to be focused on what the DEP says their goals are, but we have to have what our goals are too, and what we want for trail users and use, whether it's all equestrian. I mean, just throw some stuff out there, we certainly want multi-uses, but what are the true uses that we want out there?
Well, and what the trail's gonna be like too, I had a chance to walk, Bob's trails, and I like those trails because they're narrow, they're rock strewn, and they're steep. But for biking, you want some of the same things, which would be rocky and narrow, but not quite as steep.
Yeah.
Right? So do you create, separate trail systems, or do you?
Now, Bob, I have a question for the Essex part of it with your trails.
Yeah,
Were those mainly established trails when the preserve was finally in our hands? Or did you guys create them?
no, it's mixed bag, and we tried to take, we tried to keep the mountain bike ones to pre-existing trails. Unfortunately, they tended to be more woods road width than single track width. But not knowing what direction we were all going to take, we used existing trails where we could, and then we cut trails. In retrospect, and having had the benefit, a couple of years later of all of the vernal pool work and everything else, my guess is we will move one or two trails to move them closer to the 100-foot boundaries, that kind of thing. We'll do some tuning, but we did a mix. Would use woods roads and pre-existing where we could, and then connected them with our own trails. And
My
then
fear of our trail system now is that we have, 20 miles, 25 miles of trails, and we know some of them have to go. They're just in wetlands. They literally have to go, right?
Yep.
But some of the new trails that are created, I don't know if they're through sensitive areas or not, and we gotta figure that out. So there might be,
Yeah.
I don't know if it'd be better to start fresh. I haven't figured this out in my mind. Is it better to have what we have or to just wipe it clean and start fresh? I don't know yet. So obviously we have to keep Ingham Hill Road. That's a town unapproved road that goes up to Essex, right? We have to keep that. That's the red trail. But what else do we have to keep?
Well, I mean, one of the things that was discussed was the emergency plan,
Yep,
right? So I think a lot of those trails are better designed for that because they're wide enough for you to get a vehicle
sure.
through
Sure.
them, right?
Yeah.
So if we were to designate all of those really as the emergency plan.
Yeah, on the Essex side, we worked with the fire department and we kind of measured their equipment and marked entry to trails that we kind of cleared them to make sure that their small vehicle widths could be accommodated. So they know if they have to get into the preserve on our side, they know where to go. And we have special signs that identify those trails.
And that's the other thing too. We wanna make our side similar to your side, so it's easier for the user, whoever. Obviously, you're gonna be a little bit different than us, but there have to be somewhat similarities. So it's ease of use for everyone, including emergency personnel.
Well, that's why, thinking back to Keith's point, which is, maybe it's good not to have them so steep because, well, a few people might appreciate that, most people won't. And then, in this kind of weather, I'm thinking cross-country skiing in the winter. So if the trails could be, planned in such a way that should we have a lot of snow some other winter, they can be easily well groomed or, managed so that people can cross-country ski. 'Cause it must be gorgeous out there.
Yeah, it's the amount of snow out there is gotta be, this hasn't happened in years. So,
And you really have to be opportunistic because like today, for instance, the snow is like really sticky, so
Yeah,
you wouldn't go anywhere on
yeah.
on
Right.
the skis, and
Yeah.
even with snowshoes, it's clumping, it sticks. It's not much fun either.
So those are some of my thoughts as far as what we have to do for next steps on our end, and it's not set in stone. This is gonna be a fluid situation, I think, for the next 3, 4, 5 months of what is gonna happen. I don't know how long the plan will take them to make. I don't know if it's just gonna be done in-house, if we're gonna hire a company out to assist with it. I don't know some of these questions yet, and I have no idea who's gonna implement the plan once it gets done. Right, so I think those are important questions on our end that we have to try to ask and try to figure out. But the main steps for us in the very beginning, I think, are our goals what we want the trail system to, for who it's gonna be for, and how many miles of trails do we actually want? And then stacking the trail system, you know, one bigger loop as opposed to a few smaller ones. What are we looking for? And right now it's, and of course, how do we connect into our town system that's already there? And Essex system that's already there and make it a smooth transition. And those are important factors, I think.
Do we own a method of actually creating the inventory of all the trails that are in there? Other than the different bike platforms, do we have a way of, you know, between us, we could walk every single trail in there over the course of a month in warmer weather, right?
And GPS it all out.
Yeah, I mean, and then we can make notes on the trails.
I don't know, Keith, if we own a method of doing that yet. I don't know. It's a good point, though. We have one of the interim trail system, but not of the total trail system.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it'd be good to have the inventory and then we could decide which ones, like, which ones are outside of the borough.
Now, I know the state had done a lot of work with GPSing a lot of the trail system prior. They might have some of that still. But not all the new ones that are out there.
No, and I did get Alex to overlay the trail system onto the core protected area map. So I could see which trails might need to be adjusted.
Yep.
He could do this. If he hasn't done a few already, he could do that for you.
I think he actually did do that because we asked for it in one of our meetings
Yeah.
here as well. So there is a map that exists for that. So he has a lot of GPS points, but no, do we own it? No, the state owns it. So,
Okay.
you know, we have to figure that stuff out too, I guess.
Even if there was like a wheel, one of those simple wheels which kind of charts out with the GPS on it.
Yeah.
Well, when does the next step to actually make that happen?
Doing it, spreading it out among us all who
But-
use it.
But the item itself. Does that get ordered through Park and Rec? So we have that to you as well.
Oh, I see what you're saying. I do have a GPS, but I found out with the GPS, in order to get the data out, you have to need a certain app, and that app doesn't compete with that GPS unit I have. So, yeah, little things like that. Now, let me ask you, do e-bikes have GPS on them
I know, but I have a Garmin also.
Okay.
They don't have a good program to,
to get all the information out, right?
you know.
So, well, I'll look into that. But again, I also asked the state, 'cause maybe they already, they might have.
Then the other thing too is, you know, the equestrians are part of the mix.
Yep.
But I think the trail systems we're talking about. Don't know if we want to necessarily have those equestrian trails as well, because they're very destructive. So they should have really their own network. I don't think we have anybody in this group that's really close to that.
No, no. But I would like to see us talk to all the different groups and get their input, whether we invite them to a meeting like we had before, way back in the day. Or simply you being the member that is on the committee from here and trying to get in touch with them.
Yeah.
Whether it's, you know, someone from biking, someone from hiking, walking, snowshoe, whatever it may be, you know. I think it's important, and that's where I think the survey also comes involved with that. But we need to have everyone's input, so we don't miss out, because you know what'll happen. We never got asked, why aren't we a part of the group? So definitely want to have that to be a part of it. Is that kind of how you went about your section 2, Bob, the asking public for their input, or you guys just kind of went with it?
We went
If
with
you
it.
recall.
Yeah, I mean, well, we had some things not to worry about, like we knew we weren't gonna have equestrian trails on our side, so we didn't have equestrian trails or hunting, so the real trade-offs were which were gonna be hiker only or multi-use.
Right.
think all of them, all of the equestrians have been coming in through the Westbrook entrance.
That is the official parking lot for the equestrian. That's why it was built. Where it
Yeah,
was. There, it has enough for 4 spots, I think, for trailers, horse trailers. So.
We
That's
should
the-
make an email address that's ad hoc somehow, right? We call it,
So right now, we just created an email for our Woods and Trails team. It could go through that too, because that's through our stewardship stuff.
yeah,
So. And we call that one Old Saybrook Open Space. At gmail.com. You should have got an email to that.
oh, really?
Yeah, you got it. You should have.
yeah. Back in the beginning, when we were doing the fundraising, Westbrook members of the team definitely were strongly connected to the equestrian folks. I'm not sure now who's got the same ties.
I do have an email contact from an equestrian group that originally wanted to build the new frog bridge that they gave us the specs for, and then I had to go to our engineer to look at it, and then we gave it back to them. They didn't want to do it with the add-on, so I do have that email, so I can get a hold of the equine group. Now that I think about it.
So if they don't want to do it because it's too complicated, what can the town of Old Saybrook? do? I mean, it
We're
sounds like-
working, yeah, we're working on
Okay.
that, yeah. Just gotta funding
Right.
and logistics. So, hopefully. You know, how things go, Liz. I know, right? So you all have homework. And you're all gonna report back to Keith, he's the professor. Of, you wanna see in the trails. Where you wanna see them, perhaps. Number of uses, any important points to go by. Signage we wanna put up. Maybe we wanna create some historical areas, signage. Things of that nature, make it somewhat fun out there, benches that we wanna put out there. Anything that's gonna improve the trail system. So,
So for historical, I mean, I know where the original, Ingham. Foundation was,
so,
and I know where Split Rock is. Are there any others that, well, I know the area where we have those, prickly bushes too.
Yep.
That would be one, right?
I would say this to you as far as that whole preserve area. We know that Chris Kreider is a mountain of information in there. He would be a great contact just for picking his brain.
Mhm.
On certain things too. That's where I was thinking a member of the public. I actually did ask Chris if he wanted to be a part of it. He said no. I said, well, we're gonna certainly tap your brain. So, but, that's why I was hoping a member of the public could be on it, so we could. That side of this too, but if we don't really need it, we certainly know a lot of the members of the public, so, but I think a survey is a great sign. I didn't even think about a survey, so. That's a great start to get them back involved. For sure. So,
Yeah, and if you're gonna do survey boxes, we could do one at the Essex lot. Just because people do go, at least to find out how many people are coming into that lot and going all the way through Old Saybrook, that'd be interesting to know.
so do you know if you could do one with a QR code? If it took you to, if you.
Well, the ones that I saw
barcode it with your
didn't.
phone?
No, the ones in Vermont do use a QR code so that they could input it and not have to write it down on the paper. And they can add to that QR code as they're walking if they see something that they want to make note of.
That'd be the
That's
best way to do it.
Vermont is the only state I saw that in, but I wasn't downstate New Hampshire, so I was upstate New Hampshire, and they're a little more rustic up there.
I'm just thinking out
But
loud.
that's
For me,
not
it's
bad
like,
either.
Create the QR code that brings you to the page that gives you the information we're looking for. Where'd you walk, what day, what'd you use,
Yep,
right?
yep. What you saw, what interest you had, all of that you could add on to that easily.
That might be easy enough to do. I think I'm smart enough.
But
to
a
do
lot
that.
of people don't have their cell phones with them or don't like using their, when you're, I don't want to say old people, but grandparents with kids don't always want to use their cell phone for the QR code.
El-
But
You're
elder,
saying
they
people
don't
carry
mind
their-
signing in.
elder people.
Thank you. Yes, more seasoned people.
Who's the administrator of the, trail reporting, the site? Your
The
existing,
one that we just sent you?
yeah,
Me.
that's you.
Katie does it.
Kate, right?
Yeah. Katie sent out the email. Did you like them?
Yeah.
They came out pretty good.
So,
What's that?
trail reporting form.
Yeah. Well, we could do something similar in that, as far as just make a doc up, a Google form rather. And you can go to that site, we can give you the link to it, and it'll give you the form, it could be that for a survey. Through that email. Very easily done, and we could probably QR code that as well right to it. So I think that might work. Get the word out there.
Something you might want to check in with Kim on. I don't know if you've already had the discussion of how things will get from your trail system into the Connecticut Trail Finder system.
Okay.
I think we talked a little bit about that at the CMC meeting that she wanted to use that because of that system. Because it was for her, it was easy to input.
She did
Yeah.
mention something along those. I don't know if it was a trail finder system, but she definitely talked about something along those lines too.
Yeah.
You're right.
I mean, it seems to be the go-to for, for the state now. We've put, and you can put in trails or trail systems. It'll, it doesn't have to be a single trail. And you may have ones you don't want in. But it seems to be a go-to resource now.
Sure. Sure.
The only thing with the QR code is we want to make sure we have the kiosks or information in areas that cell phone reception is. There are some areas in the preserve that is very tacky with cell phone reception.
Now,
So the areas that don't have much cell phone reception, I mean, I think about getting lost in the preserve and you couldn't contact anyone. Is there anything we can do about having better reception throughout the preserve?
I doubt it. I mean, that's
it wouldn't
just,
be on us, it'd be on the phone companies to put up a new
Yeah.
tower. I don't know how that would even go about,
Yeah.
so.
But- to that point, I was thinking the same thing though, Liz, is that people have gotten lost because they're not marked well. So at the end of the day, when this is all done, hopefully the trails will be marked. There may be, I think we should set up sites or a place where people can say, I'm in such and such a point if they do call 911 with an emergency or whatever. So somewhere down the road, we won't have lost people, I hope.
Yeah, I mean.
Yeah, I mean,
understand.
to what Christine's saying, some of the trails, like if you're on the red trail or blue trail, you can have a little marker with blue and you could say 1.5. So you know that you're at 1.5 miles into the trail or, 3.5. So that you have that. The little markers on the trees and stuff, people aren't always going to see those.
Yeah.
But as they're walking down the trail, when they have these tiny little, 2x2 posts sitting up and they're painted with the color of the trail you're on, and then just have the mile marker on it.
Yeah, I mean, the other thing we do is that, on big intersections, we have small trail maps with a "you are here." And
Mhm.
that is helpful.
That's a good idea.
That would be great.
Remember the old mall, you are here in the mall. We haven't been in the mall in a while, so. That would be great.
But sometimes, those help because they've got the store name next to them.
Yeah.
They have a store in it.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. So, yeah. I mean, as far as that goes, as far as other uses, certainly we don't want any motorized vehicles in there, not allowed. I don't think the state allows it either, but then we have to come up with rules and regulations for e-bikes.
Oh, and I did have a long conversation with the state e-bike guy. I think you may have passed me along to him. You know, that this at the state level, I think they're still having issues as to what are the rules for class 1, 2, and 3? Are they all the same? And it seems like they have a big two different groups of people. Young kids who are, I mean, very young kids who have things that are really motorcycles, and then the senior bikers who are aging out, so they have you know, they're using an assisted trail bike to be able to stay active. And kind of how you reach them both is different. And Keith probably got a lot more that he could add to that, but they have two different sets of problems to deal with.
Yeah, I mean, the difference really is the pedal assist, which are kind of like wheelchairs for old mountain bikers.
Yeah.
Then, you know, throttle control. And I think the throttle controlled vehicles are really looked at all the same. It's more or less a motorcycle, and you know,
Yeah,
most
and apparently the kids are pretty adept at hacking the ones that are supposed to be assist only.
Right.
I mean, the pedal only with an assist, they seem to know how to convert them.
I just want all the rules to be the same in our Saybrook trail systems as well as the preserve. And that'll be something that the Park Rec Commission will have to adopt as a rule, as we get further into it. So we're all on the same page, you know, so. But I know the state has definitely had trouble with the rules and regulations for the e-bikes as well.
Yeah, I mean, our challenge is we wanted to treat them totally as motorized vehicles, but we didn't want to penalize the senior folks who started with, you know, foot pedal bikes and now are getting assist. And it was like, okay, you can't use the trails anymore. We were trying to avoid that if we could.
And I totally understand what you're saying, because I see a lot of the 8th, 9th, 10th graders around here that have the bikes that look like motorcycles and they act like motorcycles. They are fast.
Mhm.
It's definitely a challenge.
Yeah.
Definitely.
part of it that's under our control is the actual design of the trails. If you design a trail correctly, you really can't accelerate that much. You know, meaning that, you know, they're twisty and windy and, you know, strategically making use of
Yep.
rock and other structures and to make it challenging, but not easy enough so that you could take a motorcycle through it. You know? Same thing as a hiking trail, right? You want to make it so that it's not friendly for motorized vehicles or high speed, anything really, right? So, and then, you know, the other thing, I think we can get a lot of help with our verbiage because Deep and IMBA have been working together on this same issue to come up with a good structured document to make it clear what's allowed and what's not allowed
Okay.
in your trail system.
Good.
I'll try to dig that up for you.
Okay. All right. And then certainly another thing to talk about with our trails is the vistas that we have in the preserve. What do we want to look? Where do we want to overlook? Where do we want to have reflection points? Things like that. So certainly there's a whole area where the cairns are that overlooks the swamp.
Mhm.
That's a beautiful spot. We want a trail to go into there, but where else do we want to go? I know in Essex there's a nice area that there's a bench for correct me,
Llewellyn,
well, and yeah, thank you. And that's a nice area just where it is that overlooks the brook and whatnot. So it's just beautiful there. Do we want to have some of those points as well? You know, where people can go to.
And I
Unless
think there was a trail that went up higher on a ridge that we could overlook the bog and the Boggs Dam.
Yeah, yep.
Yeah,
Yep,
and
there's a
I
trail
think
there.
that trail also went by our 100-year-old Laurel
Yeah.
section that the state is thinking that it's not going to exist after they lumber.
To make that happen. Anyway, but this will be another thing out in the what we want to look forward to. So I think those are some of the key points for us. But anything else, certainly throw that out there. I know we're gonna miss something tonight, so.
One thing with the vistas, I like having the trails on the high points too. But I think one of the things we ran into before was it was the places that the bats like to hide out, those rocky areas and I know that the coyotes have their
Dens, yeah.
dens.
Yeah.
I don't know. Well, as time goes on, the usage of the trail system continues to grow popularity standpoint. I don't know where these creatures are gonna go to hide, you know? But anyway, I know we spent a lot of time with talking about bat studies, all that kind of stuff. I don't know if we really came out with anything concrete on what we're trying to avoid. It's not my strength.
Well, I think some of the things we definitely need to avoid are certainly some of the vernal pools, obviously protected areas,
Yeah.
and any flora or fauna that's really protected. We don't want people going near it.
Yeah.
Or any species that people could go dig up, that, you know, we don't want that to happen either. So. And there's a whole slew of data on that we need to be aware of. It will be multi-layered and a lot to it. It's not gonna happen overnight, that's for sure.
Well, and you may not get it right the first time either, and the good thing is that the trails do regenerate relatively fast. You know,
Sure.
that we do lay out a plan and it turns out that everybody hates it.
Right.
We can certainly change it.
Yeah.
So Ray, do you know, like, next step, is Kim gonna call the next meeting? Or do you guys talk about that at all?
Well, Kim is meeting with Alex and Martin, who, if I could say his last name, I would. On Tuesday to kind of get some of this framework down of how they're gonna
Okay,
set
so
these meetings up.
So
And then from there, I'll know more.
okay,
I'm hoping we meet in March. Since that's Sunday.
yeah,
So I hope we meet early in March and get a basis going and to report back to you guys. Either prior to that or for the next meeting, what do we need to bring back to the table for the next meeting? That's
Mhm.
what I'm hoping. So, see how it goes.
And one thought, somebody mentioned Google Docs. You know, whatever feedback or comments we want to give to Keith, we might want to set up a Google Doc so that it, you know, we all can see it. I can see what Sue wrote, you know, and instead of an email, that, and make Keith's life easier too, to just have one-stop shopping for looking at, you know, whatever information you need from us.
Fine, we were talking about Google Docs today for stewardship stuff too, so it can go hand in hand. We can create another one just for this too.
Yeah, I mean, they're easy enough. You know, I think people are getting used to using them.
It's all in the world, this Google stuff and the forms. I've learned so much over the last month. Been great. Used it before, so it's been awesome.
You just let AI do it, you know?
Good, yes,
There we
yeah,
go.
yeah,
I'm
right.
all for
Boy,
that.
that'll upgrade
Yeah.
the trails in no time.
That's really all I had for tonight. I just want to talk about the next steps for the public use plan. There's really not much more we need to talk about anyway, but I want to get everyone on the same page of where we're going.
So, okay, so new business forest management plan discussion.
Mhm.
Have we kind of had that in this discussion?
Sort of, so I opened up with what was discussed at the CMC meeting
Yeah,
about the forest management plan and
Yeah.
how the plan did not change from the letters that were sent. I asked that question
yeah,
and they said it didn't change at all
so they didn't incorporate any edits
from those two other letters that stopped the process, correct? So
wow,
we just have a signed doc. You can go on the DEP website and look at the forest management plan, but it's gonna be the same one that you've gotten. Except now it's signed. And again, that's the overall arching document. It's not an end all be all.
yeah,
So now that that is in place, now it makes us do this public use plan. It lets us do that. And it also taps into the money that the state has been holding. We can use that for certain things as well. And it will go on to the first, and the forest management plan talks about forestering of stand 10. And now that process will start. Alex Amendola will start that process. And there'll be a whole nother document created of how they're gonna do it, what they're gonna do, when they're gonna do it, so on and so forth, and they have to do other studies on that too, and that's probably gonna take 8 to 10 months to even create that document, and then there'll be another public session where the public gets their input on that particular plan. So there's a lot of layers to it. It's just, the forest management plan now is just the overall 10-year, what should be accomplished.
So what about stand 10?
What about it?
Yeah, I mean, that was like an issue of discussion. Did that come up at all?
And that's gonna be the next step now for them. They're gonna start working on that plan of what's gonna happen in stand 10. Of how they're
Okay,
gonna,
so they didn't go to stand 8, they just stayed with stand 10.
because that's the first one identified in the forest management plan that they're gonna work on. So in that particular plan, if you looked at the forest management plan today, you can go to stand 10 and see what they identified and what they plan on doing. And then Alex will create a document specifically on stand 10. And that document, they've already started a bat study. They have to do that to see if what bats are out there and so on and so forth. And there's some other studies that go along with it as well.
And is there any hope for having oxen take the wood out and? did that
I
come
think
up?
there's hope for anything at this point in time, because that plan is not, it's not even created yet. And there's been no public input to it as well.
Well, the thing about public input is that it's pretty discouraging if they don't make it.
Correct, but at least your voice is heard, I guess. But nothing, at this point in time, nothing has been done on that plan,
Okay,
so it's an open field at this point in time, right?
thank you.
Yeah. And your input could be put, I guess, at any point in time, if you wanted to email Alex, say, hey.
Right.
Ray, my understanding is that they're part of that process, though, is that they're required to have a public hearing on the operating plan.
Correct. Required within each of the
Yeah.
stands, this is not stand 10, every stand that they want to do any silviculture in, they have to have that same process.
Yeah.
It'll be something. It'll be the first one, and the only thing I can think of is clear cutting. I don't know why I have that in my mind. That's not what they want to do, but that's the only thing I have in mind.
Shh, don't say that.
No, but that's what you think about, I guess.
Yeah, no, I know.
Well, the hard thing is that they have to take down trees in order to make room to log the trees they want to log. And
Yeah.
that's just a reality of that type of logging. I don't know. I think we have a lot of say in how they remove the logs. And it doesn't have to be by vehicle. So,
Hmm.
Yeah, it's nice to know where the 2 oxen live, that they're in Lyme, Connecticut, and be here pretty quickly. I
Yeah.
guess.
Mhm.
Plus
And
the
they-
area.
they're very efficient, you know,
Or are they?
they are really. They can haul 2 logs at a time, bring it right out to, almost out to the parking lot. They can walk it right out to the parking lot so that the truck wouldn't be in the forest, the heavy truck, and they can load it there. But our concern is the weight of those trucks, the width of those trucks, and what is legal traveling for vehicles on Ingham Hill Road.
Hmm.
So they may have to resort to a smaller truck that carries less lumber and is a longer operation.
There's some sharp turns on that road too. I can't imagine those trucks are huge.
Can't imagine, yeah. I don't know how it's
Yeah.
gonna work out.
Mhm.
Again, it's hard to picture it in your mind. That's all I can say.
Yeah.
So,
Hmm.
so that's all I have for tonight. Any other new business that anyone wants to talk about?
Well, I just mentioned there's somebody who's hanging various and sundry deer parts in the trees. If any of your folks come across them.
There are parts in the trees.
Yeah, fresh, what's left of haunches and, whole legs.
Oh,
Really?
Yeah, it's pretty
oh,
bizarre.
man.
Yeah, it looks like a satanic rites. I haven't seen it on the old Saybrook side, but I've seen it right on the border, so.
Wow.
What a waste of an
Yeah.
animal.
Yeah,
Okay. Oh, man.
well, it reminded me, we had that issue several years back Christine, I don't know if you were on board yet. We had the deer carcasses that dogs were getting some sort of a disease from.
Oh, wow. Wow.
Yeah, they were getting sick on eating rotten meat.
Yeah,
Yeah.
either that or joints in the parking lot. We never were sure.
All right, everyone. So you have your homework, try to get some info to Keith. I'll try to come up with some survey questions and certainly get that survey to everyone and come up with some survey questions as well. So we can have that. All right?
Okay.
Sounds
Motion to
good.
adjourn.
Uh,
All right, Keith motioned it, Sue, you seconded it. Good job.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.
Take care.
All right.
Bye-bye. Good night,
Bye.
everyone.